Ego. Ego makes the difference. The difference between theory and practice, between wishful thinking and real life, between the way things work and the way we would like them to work, between what they can teach you at Harvard Business School and what they can't. In a company of 2,500 people, there are 2,500 egos running around, each with his or her unique view of reality. Ego is why some things that should happen don't, and why other things that shouldn't happen do, and why both take a lot longer than necessary. A person's ego, even an overbearing one, may be your strongest ally. A lot of deals get made simply because someone's ego was so involved that he could not psychologically afford not to get it done. If you can read ego, understand its impact on business events, then control it by either stroking it, poking at it, or minimizing its damage. You can be the beneficiary of many of these deals. The size of someone's ego is by far the easiest thing to figure out about him. Most successful businessmen are one giant ego with a couple of arms and legs sticking out. Interestingly, and as a generalization, most women in business are somewhat harder to read. Even today, a woman's sense of self, how she defines herself, is less wrapped up in her job than is that of her male counterparts. But a giant ego doesn't mean a strong ego. In fact, it often means the opposite, that someone feels the need to be assertive because of a low self-image. And a small ego doesn't necessarily indicate weakness. Many of the most effective people I know in business are very low-key. I prefer to deal with strong egos, as I'm sure most people in business do. These are usually the executives who are willing to take reasonable risks, don't second guess, and are the quickest to get things done. Weaker egos are harder to read, which makes it more difficult to determine your own course of action. They also operate with lower expectations of themselves, which means that dealing with them will take more time and you will accomplish less. Once you have determined the strength of a person's ego, you can cope with a range of pragmatic questions. How direct and forthright are his answers? How quickly will he make a decision? And once he has made it, will he vacillate it? Is he consistent? Is he upfront, or would he rather operate from behind a wall? Does he deal with the facts as they are, or as he would like them to be? And most important of all, how secure is this person? A person's security quotient has a direct bearing on how he will behave in business situations. Will he be stubborn or reasonable? Will form be more important than substance? What excesses and vanities will probably come into play? Is he likely to say one thing and do another? Does he prefer to deal to your face or to your back? Instead of always challenging or confronting the other person's ego, it is much easier and far more effective to acknowledge and understand its impact on your business and use this information to your advantage. One final question of ego needs to be considered, and that is your own. Nothing blocks insight into other people more than your own ego. Be aware of your strengths and weaknesses and how these are likely to stand your reaction to others. It is difficult to be effective if your conclusions about what makes someone tick are based on your ego rather than on his.